Shalom, Lord. Shalom. Y'all Bashim Yahweh Shai, Barakatah. Y'all Shamar Alatham Bashim Yahweh Shai. Preaching officer of 500 Mathum Yard. You know what I mean? Out of I.S.U.P.K, store out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command of YAHANNA. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969. And the truth being that the blacks, Latinos, and the Native American Indians are God's chosen people and are to come back together, you know what I mean, in this body so we can, you know what I mean, take over like we did in the past, you know what I mean, and so we can get out of this hell that we are in right now in America, you know what I mean, because what I'm seeing now, right now in America is everybody's gearing up, everybody's preparing, everybody's trying to make sure they issues together for Christmas. Everybody trying to make sure everything is perfect for, you know what I mean, New Year's and all the holidays coming up for the sake of the holiday spirit, you know what I mean, quote unquote. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Everybody's preparing for it, gearing up, they getting their families ready, and you know, doing all this preparation just so the Lord can burn your house down. Just so the Most High can, you know what I mean, could just make a, you know what I mean, a unfortunately make us, you know what I mean, something to behold of your home, you know what I mean, when it bursts into flames because we want to celebrate Christmas. You understand? This happened far too many times, you know what I mean, for my liking anyway, where we come around and we start, you know, doing these things that the Lord doesn't like, you know what I mean, that the Lord hates. You understand? And we do it and we get surprised. We get surprised when things that's unfortunate happens, like someone dies or whatever like that. You know what I mean? We the way we live, man, is if we keep his commandments. I'm gonna read this precept right quick if I could. If I could find it. Boom, boom, boom. Bear with me. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God. What is the book of the commandments? It's talking about the Bible. It's talking about these precepts, these scriptures, man, that's in the Bible. You know what I mean? What does it say in there? Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are Israel. You know what I mean? Prophecies proving that we God's chosen people. It also shows how Christmas is evil. It also shows how it's, you know what I mean, idol worship. All right, let's read some more. And the law that endure forever, all they that keep it shall come to life. Everybody that keep these laws is going to come to life. But if you want to, you know what I mean, take it upon yourself to go get a Christmas tree, light it up in your crib, have all the light and light ornaments and everything like that set up in your crib and on top of your crib, don't be surprised when the Lord just, you know what I mean, just burns it down. Don't be surprised when the Lord makes an example out of you, because you know Christmas is wrong, but now we don't care about that because we want to just do it because what, for the sake of our memory, for our memory's sake, because we grew up on it, because we grew up on Christmas coming up as a kid, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like General Kathum say, you know what I mean? General Kathungabar say you could come up off of that too. You know what I mean? We gotta, you know what I mean, we gotta, you know, do away with all that stuff right there. You know what I mean? We have to realize this is vain. You know what I mean? And don't be surprised, like I said, when the Lord tears your house down because you thought it was better to disobey him. Because you thought you had a better, you know, a way of thinking. You thought it was going to be fine. You know what I mean? You thought your ways was better than the Lord's ways. So the Lord will probably, you know what I mean, might just show you that is not, you know, that you was utterly wrong. Let me get some more. It says, all they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. You know what I mean? Such as leave it shall die. That's what everybody's about to do now. Everybody in the next few weeks, you know what I mean? Going on, nah, not even that. Going into a month, everybody's about to go and, you know what I mean, be in this holiday, this wicked holiday spirit that they love to say so much, right? You know what I mean? Why say it's going to be like a month and some change, and even then it's going to still go on for a minute because you got Valentine's Day right after that. These brothers and sisters are still going to have, brothers and sisters are still going to have Christmas trees in their crib, standing in their crib, all the way up until March. You know what I mean? All the way up to damn April. You understand? You know what I mean? And this is what I mean by that. We're gonna be in this little wicked spirit, you know what I mean, for a while. For this so-called holiday spirit, wickedness, craziness, madness that's going on. It's gonna go on for a minute. You know what I mean? Everybody's gearing up for it. You know what I mean? And it said right here, I'm gonna read that part again. It says, but such as leave it shall die. That's what all these brothers, all these sisters, not all of them, but most of these brothers and sisters out here, they are about to, leave what the Most High said, leave the commandments. They're not keeping it. They about to leave it some more by, inviting everybody to their crib for Christmas dinner. Invite everybody down for, get some of this food we got over here. Get some of this, get some of that. You know what I mean? Everybody coming over there. You know how many videos I seen on Instagram or via Facebook where, they, family is around. His family is in there. They thinking they having a good time. You know what I mean? And for the sake of Christmas, in the name of Christmas, and then they burn the house down because nobody know how to cook in there. Nobody's responsible in there, and they end up having a stove set the whole house make the whole house burst into flames. Salaki. You know what I mean? This is Salaki. That's an account I see far too often, and I wonder how long are we going to, stay on this path? How long is it going to How long is it going to take us to realize, this is not for us? Maybe this is not working. Maybe we could, probably observe something better than this. Matter of fact, what's the origins of Christmas and things like that? We don't ever ask these things because, the white man has been such a great slave master. He's been doing an excellent job at being a slave master. So much so, he don't have to force you to sin against God. He don't have to force you to do it because you love it already. You know what I mean? For instance, you know what I mean? You love celebrating birthdays. You love your birthday coming up. You can't wait to do it big for your birthday. You can't wait to go plan your trip and do all manner of wickedness and whore out of both jaw legs overseas, you know what I mean, while you out for your birthday and all that, celebrating your birthday. You understand? When the Lord ain't with it. And the white man, who is the devil the Bible speaks of, he don't have to coerce, he don't have to, do anything to get you to sin against God. You don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? All you gotta do is just put a couple Christmas ads, couple Christmas promotions on your TV screen. People don't watch TV no more, so I can put a couple Christmas promotions on the ads on YouTube and Facebook and different advertisements on Instagram and so on and so forth, man. He don't have to do much. He doesn't have to work hard. He doesn't have to work hard. They spend a lot of money though. They spend billions and billions of dollars into destroying Black people, into destroying our mental state and destroying our spirit. And one of the many ways is dumping like truckloads of money into these holidays, into the promotions of it. You know what I mean? So we're to the point where we outside and all we see is Christmas. All we see is New Year's and things of that nature. That's all we see every time we step out the crib. You know what I mean? Because it's designed that way. The white man is pushing it out there. You know what I mean? But he's not tying you up to a chain and dragging you to his goddamn Target or dragging you to his Walmart and emptying out all his stock, everything he got in there and filling his pockets up. He ain't tying you up to do that. He ain't putting a gun to your head and making you say, nah, you know what I mean? You going to celebrate Christmas. I don't know what you thought you was doing, but you're gonna go to this Walmart, you're gonna buy all the Christmas trees, you're gonna buy all these toys up in here that we failed to sell all year long, but you're gonna come and make up for it. He's not putting a gun to our head and forcing us to fill his pockets up this time of year. You understand? He's not doing that. He doesn't have to work hard because he's been doing a great job at being a slave master. Like I said before, you know what I mean? So how do we break them chains? How do we break the chains of not falling weak to what the white man says or his holidays that he tries to push to the forefront for all of us to see and to indulge in, have our babies grow up in this nonsense, man? You know what I mean? Black men should tell their children that Christmas is evil. Tell their children that Thanksgiving is evil. Tell your children that New Year's and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and all that is evil and wicked and has nothing to do with God. If you really want to bring your kids up the right way, I mean, that's what we say all the time. We love our babies. We love our kids. This, that. We hate to see anything bad happen to them. Well, I would tell my kids not to go to a damn Halloween party, you know what I mean, so they can get hurt, so they can get harmed. You understand? I would tell my kids not to do that. I would tell my kids, what do you you know what I mean? I wouldn't tell my kids to come with me and, you know what I mean, we're gonna knock on some strangers' doors, we're gonna get some candy. Now I don't know what they put in the candy. I don't know what they're doing with the candy and nothing, but you know what I mean, the white man said this is Halloween and it's trick or treat. We just gonna go out here and we're gonna do it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, that's the thing we do in America. That's just how we was brought up. You know what I mean? When we could get brought up a different way, right? Is it mandatory that we have to celebrate Christmas? Is it mandatory that we have to celebrate New Year's Day? Is it mandatory for Black people? You know, are they going to round us up? Are they going to round us up? Are they going, you know what I mean, send out the martial law because we ain't celebrating Christmas? No. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, that's a slave mentality to have, man, to where you like, well, nigga, I'm going to celebrate Christmas. I don't give a damn what you talking about. You know what I mean? That's just the weak way of thinking, man. You know what I mean? If you could be strong, you understand? You could be strong. You know what I mean? Just because we've been growing up on this wicked holiday does not mean we got to continue going through with it. You understand? I had some close family members. I had a close family member that asked me, well, damn, so you don't celebrate Thanksgiving? I'm like, hell no, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Like, damn, well, don't you miss it? I'm like, hell no, I don't miss it. You understand? What the hell you going? No, I don't miss it. You know what I mean? Because when you really look at it and you genuine and you really sincere about looking at the truth of all these holidays that's brought forth to us, man, is like, you know, you really see these days are evil. These days are wicked. You know what I mean? That the white man, you know what I mean? We say it a whole thousand times more on how Thanksgiving is a murderous holiday. Is a murderous, genocidal, you know what I mean, holiday made for maniacs like the white man. They celebrating the deaths and the slaughter of the Native American Indians. You understand? We can't go into that. Why would I want to celebrate? Why would I want to eat turkey and this, you know what I mean, celebrating the day of murder? I can't do it. You know what I mean? Same with Christmas, man. It's a idol worshiping, it's a pagan holiday where you worshiping a damn tree. And if you wasn't worshiping a tree, why you gotta set a tree up in your crib every year for in the month of December and leave it in your crib and all that all the way up until it get hot outside? You understand? We gotta understand, man. Listen, these days are vain. You know what I mean? And this is why, again, like I said in the beginning of the class, man, we lose a lot of our people. We lose a lot of our people. We end up dying. We end up perishing on these days. Around this time of year, you know what I mean, the violence is going like skyrocket. The violence is going up around this time of year. Why is that? Why is that? You understand? I see, we're gonna get into that too, but I see I see a video. Actually, matter of fact, 12 Shield General Hyman actually talked about it, I believe, a couple weeks ago, where he said he was saying you know what I mean, how the seasonal depression, man, let me get the right term for it. I think it's called seasonal depression, but they got another term for it too. Let me see. It's another term they use. Okay, so yeah, seasonal. So it is seasonal depression or a seasonal affective disorder. You know what I mean? Like, so people having that, you know what I mean? It's because, you know, well, the studies show like it's because it get darker earlier. People don't know how to take it or whatever, and losing sleep and whatnot. But you know what I mean? Also, you growing up on Christmas as a kid and you growing up now and you like, man, I gotta celebrate. I gotta celebrate this. I gotta celebrate that. I gotta make sure I get a Christmas tree. It was a sister I met a few years ago. I think probably 2 years ago. And you know what I mean, she was cool too. She was all right, but it was around this time of year where everybody's celebrating Christmas. You know what I mean? Just shout out to everybody tuning in as well, man. Shalom, Lord Christ. You know what I mean? Appreciate everybody tuning in. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all like the class. You ask questions if you have any. You know what I mean? I appreciate all the you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Engagement from the people. All right, so yeah, it was a sister I met a couple years ago, and it was around this time of year, and she was cool and everything like that. But she's stressing about trying to get all this, make sure, like, basically stressing about having a perfect Christmas for, you know what I mean, her and her child. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, like, you know, because you spending all your last bit of change on some toys and gifts. You know what I mean? The kid's bad as hell anyway. I don't know why you trying to give them gifts and all that. But you know what I mean? Like, if you exclude that, you know what I mean? You spending your last on this and that and all this nonsense when you could put it towards a bill. You could put it towards something that's wise to put the money towards, but you want to put it towards, you know what I mean, something that, you know, everybody's doing. It's easy to give to this Christmas nonsense, man. You know what I mean? That's another point though. If we done away with these holidays around this time of year, we would do a lot better financially. We would have a lot more money. You know what I mean? We would have a lot more money to play with, to a lot more money to have circulating within the black community. You know what I mean? Anybody that, you know, knows 2 + 2 = 4 can understand that. You know what I mean? Like, if we just done away with all these holidays, we would have a lot more money coming in and coming out of the black community. But since brothers out there is too, you know what I mean, niggas gotta celebrate Christmas. We just gotta do it. You know what I mean? We can't, you know what I mean, because of the lust, you know what I mean, of this holiday and everything like that. We just gonna, you know, just go into it and not give a damn. But guess what? That the thing about it is the Lord is against it. The Lord is against it. He's not with it. And he's gonna show us. And I pray, brothers, understand that we have to, you know what I mean, turn quickly from this, man, because you understand. I want to read something. Let me see. Let's see if I can read something real fast. You know what I mean? Maybe I can pull something up. So, like, bear with me, girl. I got a little statistics about, you know what I mean, on the death rate of us, man. You know what I mean? If you look it up, right, it says basically, you know what I mean, the death toll around this time of year is going up. The percentages is rising. You know what I mean, for the people that dies around this time of year. You know what I mean? And that includes black people. So it's all around in general. The Lord is showing the earth that he does not rock with Christmas, that he does not rock with New Year's. He does not rock with all these holidays around this time of year. He's not with the Holy Spirit. I mean, it's like he's not with the holiday spirit. You know what I mean? He's not with that. All right. And like I read, Salaki. And like I said, the last part of this precept right here, where it says Baruch chapter 4, verse 1, at the end, it says, "But such as leave it shall die." Anybody that leave these precepts, anybody that leave these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, they're going to perish. You understand? And I pray brothers wake up to the fact, because you can live. Like where it says, if I go up a little more in the verse, it says, "All they that keep it shall come to life." Brother, you wanna have life. You wanna live, brother. You wanna have, a thriving, enjoyable life, man. You don't want to perish. You want to be strong and healthy. But when you tend to, give your life away to a cigarette, when you tend to give your life away to a blunt, you tend to give your life away to, whatever you smoke, whatever your thing is, you understand? You letting a plant dictate your life, you understand? Control every aspect of your life to the point where you don't brush your teeth first in the morning. You go straight to the blunt. You understand? Like we have to understand like these things right here. If we tend to give into these things, the Lord will destroy us. We got a little grace and mercy right now. And I thank the Most High for it. So being that we have some mercy right now and some grace, we got a grace period. And what's a grace period? Anybody that knows, if you had problem paying a phone bill or whatever in the past or currently, you understand, you don't pay that phone bill, they're gonna give you some time to pay it. Like you got a grace period to be like, all right, you can't pay it right now. We're gonna give you until boom, boom, boom. We're gonna give you a week and a half or 2 weeks to make a payment on it, and you're gonna be straight. All right. I know T-Mobile, they give you like 2 periods where you can pay it off and whatever like that. You know what I mean? Like that's how they work. That's how grace periods work. You understand? The Lord is giving us a grace period. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, y'all sinned, y'all turned away from me and all that. Okay, y'all not following my laws, statutes, and commandments. Y'all celebrating Christmas. Y'all putting the Christmas tree in your house. Oh, that's what y'all doing. Okay. Well, listen. You know what I mean? He sent Christ. He sent our King down here to die for us. You know what I mean? And now he's alive again. He risen up on the third day. You know what I mean? And he's alive now. And being that, that's the case, now we have a grace period. So, we got time now to straighten ourselves out before Christ come back. You know what I mean? We got a time period right now to do this job and to, get right before Christ come back. But I see a lot of us don't really care about that. We care about all the other things, man. Let's see if I can get into it. What I was saying is the violence around this time of year is going up. It's going up exponentially. And, that means, unfortunately, it's going to be more unalivings. It's going to be more people getting hurt around this time. You know what I mean? In the near future, it's going to be it's unfortunate, like, but we have to, I would, I wonder how long we would have to, see these things happen before we start, before like a question sparks in our head, like, maybe this ain't the way. Just maybe this ain't the way. I digress. You know what I mean? Let me grab a precept for y'all real quick. Grab a little precept for y'all. I think it was 33. This is it right here. This is I don't know if y'all heard this one before, but listen. It says, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 7. Why doth one day excel another? Why does this day excel another day? Like in a couple days, everybody about to come running down down the stairs, or not even that. Because let me correct that. A lot of us, gonna go in our living rooms or wherever the Christmas tree is planted at, and rip up them gifts that's under there, just like they did in the past. Ain't nothing new under the sun. And this was a custom of an ungodly nation, of an ungodly empire. The empire of the Babylonians. That's where Christmas come from, man. And we taking a part of it. And we know Babylon is a known empire for being against God. And they doing it now today. And you got your kids celebrating. It's disgusting. You understand? Now, let's read some more. It says, why doth one day excel another? When as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun. You understand? When what I mean, that's self-explanatory right there. When as the light, it's like when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun, like, and every day is the same. You know what I mean? We got, the days where the sun comes out and everything like that. You know what I mean? Verse 8, by the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Now listen, you know what I mean? It says by the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished. You know what I mean? The Lord made differences between certain days and all that. You understand? And it says he altered the seasons and the feasts. Let's get some more. It's gonna bring it on home. Some of them that he had made high days and hollowed them, and some of them have he made ordinary days. Like a lot of these days, a lot of these days are normal, ordinary days. Like, what I mean, what you about to do tomorrow and 2 days from now, you know what I mean? Y'all about to be a part of a day that's an ordinary day according to God. You know what I mean? It's an ordinary day. It means nothing. You understand? And we gonna be taking a part of it. And the Lord hates it. You understand? Let's see if any more on that. So it's an ordinary day, and he made some days that should be hallowed. You know what I mean? That are hallowed. You know what I mean? Which means holy. He made some certain days for us to celebrate, man. Like we just had the feast of dedication, the feast of dedication, and you know what I mean, the Hanukkah. We just celebrated that. You know what I mean, the last Sunday. We just did that. Those one of the days that the Lord wants us to celebrate. You know what I mean? Those one of them days right there that we have to, you know, recognize. But he didn't tell us to recognize Christmas. He didn't tell us to celebrate. He didn't tell us to put a Christmas tree in all of our homes. Christians, you know what I mean? Christians, I cannot understand. Like for the life of me, I don't understand. You say you love God, you say you love the Bible, you say you love Christ, you say you love, the Most High and everything with all your heart. You know what I mean? But you put a Christmas tree in your house and you idolize the tree. I know you don't think you idolizing the tree, but you put in a Christmas tree in your home, observing a day that the Most High never told you to observe. In fact, he also said in the Bible to not to not to not observe or be dismayed at the signs of the heathen. So I can let's get it real quick. Jeremiah. We're gonna go Jeremiah 10 real quick. You know what I mean? It says something on the lines of that. We're gonna grab it right now. All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Let's read. Let's get it. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the Lord, which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. So now we know that he's talking to the Israelites. He just said it right there. Everybody should understand that. And who is it talking about when it say Israelites? Black, Latinos, and First Nation man, women, and children. All right, he's talking, the Most High is speaking to us right now. Let's get some more. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. So why would the Lord tell us not learn the way of the heathen? You understand? Why would he tell us that? He's going to explain. We're going to get some more. For the customs of the people are vain. It says for the customs of the people are vain. You know what I mean? It's vain. Why is it vain? Because let's let the scripture speak. Let's get some more. Let the Lord speak. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. So one cutteth a tree out of the forest. That's where you're getting all your Christmas trees from. Y'all don't even peep. That's Babylonian customs. You know what I mean? Let's get some more. And I'm going to go into the history and all that. You know what I mean? It says, for one cut of a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. So they cutting the tree, they getting the tree down, they hacking it, and hacking it. You know what I'm saying? Cutting the tree down, and basically, you know what I mean, it's done by a workman. It's a man that, you know what I mean, works with, you know, different you know what I mean, instruments to do these things like the axe. You know what I'm saying? The working man does these things, right? And it says, verse 4, they deck it with silver and with gold. So they deck it with silver and gold. And what are you about to do tomorrow if you haven't done it already? What has Black people, Latinos, and Native American Indian people done already? You know what I mean? I'm sure you did it already. It's the 23rd. Y'all coming up on the time, right? Y'all coming up on the time. Listen, I almost guarantee everybody already decked their Christmas tree out already. They decked the halls and all that, you know what I'm saying, with their Christmas tree and put all the ornaments and things like that. That's what it's saying right here. Thousands and thousands of years ago, you know what I mean, in the book of Jeremiah, you understand, where he's saying they deck it with silver and with gold. They decking their they decking their tree out with gold. You understand? Today, what you do it with? You do it with little gold beads, silver beads. Y'all want to get, you know, they changing it up now with the red beads and making it colorful and all that now. But you still put gold and silver, you know, ornaments on the tree. You still do that. Gold looking, at least. It ain't real gold, but you know, get the point. You understand? You do all that today. You know what I mean? And that's heavy because this is thousands and thousands of years ago where they did it in the past. They literally did this. You know what I mean? The history behind this is Nimrod. Nimrod, this all comes from him, right? So Nimrod, if you look him up in history, he was you know what I mean, the first a warlord, the first man to, you know what I mean, to go ahead and war against nations. And then you see how the white man does it today, where he basically, you know, is just bombing whole nations and taking them over and this, that. You know what I mean? Nimrod did it first. He went, you know what I mean, killed and unalived and raped and robbed all over the place. And that was the Babylonian Empire, the ancient you know what I mean, Babylonian Empire. All right. So when he died, right? His mother, you know what I mean, claimed that his life was still living and his spirit lived through the tree. Through the tree, what kind of tree? An evergreen tree. You know what I mean? That's the one that's similar to the ones everybody's putting in their homes right now. You understand? You know what I mean? That's what everybody's putting in their tree. I'm so like in their homes right now, if they don't already have it. If they don't already have it, you understand? Let me see some more. Boom, 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 boom. You understand? So yeah, basically, yeah, they saying that, you know, Salakia, basically saying his mother basically was tricking the people into thinking like, nah, he's living right now. He's living through this tree. Everybody, y'all better pay. Y'all better bring y'all gifts. Bring y'all gifts to my son that lives through this tree. You understand? And that's what people did. And if they didn't do it, guess what happened? If nobody wanted to give gifts to, you know what I mean, to the you know, to Nimrod that's living through this tree, guess what happened? You know what I mean? You get you know what I mean, your head chopped off. You know what I mean? You get decapitated. You understand? You know what I mean? And then they hang your head on on that tree. They hang your head as an ornament on the tree. Y'all want to know where that little ball that y'all put on a tree, on y'all Christmas tree? Y'all want to know where that comes from? It comes from, you know, having our heads getting chopped off because we didn't want to celebrate it. You know what I mean? For everybody that didn't want to celebrate it, everybody that had some strength, that had some courage, you know what I mean, that didn't want to celebrate or idol, worship it as an idol, got their heads cut off and put on the tree, hanged on the tree. You understand? That's what happened. You know what I mean? And we see they don't have to do that today. This is why I brought out earlier. We see the white man does not have to go to such extreme measures to make sure we celebrate Christmas. He don't have to do that. He don't have to threaten us to chop our heads off now. You don't have to do that. Because you are willingly doing it. You're willingly, being a part of this holiday. You're a willing slave. You understand? You're a willing slave that's willing to, just do anything that the man in power tells you to do without a fight, without any pushback, without any thinking that concerning like the Most High, whether he wants us to do this or not. Or even if you ain't even thinking about God, you think about having fun or thinking about surviving, whatever it is. You understand? When the Lord, he's going to show us that he's not with it. All right, let me get where I was at. Where was I at? Somebody. So let me see if I got some more. So that's the history behind it right there. That's the history, and they basically, the Christian church got a hold of it and made it Christmas. You understand what it is today? You understand? But it comes from paganism, comes from homosexuality, disgusting behaviors. You understand? And it's not our customs. What the hell are you celebrating Christmas for? And it got nothing to do with you. And Christmas got nothing to do with black people. So what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing celebrating? None of the history has anything to do with us. You know what I mean? It comes from some stinking heathens that, put this together in their head as a damn scheme to make some money, as a scheme to, live off of people's gifts and all that, in the days of Babylon. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with black people. So why are we celebrating it? Give me that. Answer me that right quick. You know what I mean? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And we wonder why the Lord punishes us every single time. We wonder every time our loved one passes, a loved one unfortunately dies. You understand? We gotta ask, why, Lord? Why are you doing this? The Lord is telling you in the Bible. He's telling you in these scriptures that when you celebrate these days, he's not with it. And that's his way of showing you he's not with it. How long is it gonna take for us to learn? You know what I mean? Let's see if I got some more on this precept real quick. Now here's some more. Let me read. Verse 5. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. Talking about that evergreen tree. You know what I mean? They're upright, just like the tree in your house. It's the same. It's the same thing. That tree sits upright. You know what I mean? Let's get some more. It says, they must needs be born because they. I might have missed a step. Oh no, I'm right. They must needs be born because they cannot go. Now Jeremiah is saying, listen, through the spirit of the Most High, he's saying the tree cannot do anything. The tree can't go. He can't move over there. He can't do anything bad to you. He can't harm you. The tree can't do nothing to you. Let's get some more. They must needs be born because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good. Jeremiah, he's basically saying the tree is not going to do anything to you. The tree, and why did he have to tell our people that back then? Why did he have to tell our people the tree can't do nothing to you? The tree not going to hurt you. The tree can't do no evil to you right now. Why did he have to tell black people back then that the tree can't harm anything? The tree can't do anything to them? Because obviously it had to be, obviously the mother, they was lying about it, talking about, man, if you don't do this, man, you gonna get whoop-de-whoop. You know what I mean? Spewing threats to our people. If you don't do this, this is gonna happen. If you don't do this, this is gonna happen. You understand? because they was, all the witchcraft of it, is causing us to, think, damn, I don't want nothing bad to happen to me. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? That's that's a slave mentality, and it's sad. It's sad to say we are under that same slave mentality today. Sad to say, you know what I mean? But we're gonna wake our people up, and we're gonna get stronger. We ain't even gonna sweat it. We're gonna get stronger, man. Because what's gonna happen is the Lord is gonna force. The Lord is gonna have it to where you have no other choice but to come into the I.S.U.P.K and learn your true identity. Learn that these holidays is wicked and evil and disgusting. You understand? Go and learn, the ways to be and what and the ways, in which ways you shouldn't be. You understand? We're gonna learn. He's gonna force that to happen. And I digress. Let's get some more. It says, they are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born. You know what I mean? Let me get some more. Because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, nor and neither also is it in them to do good. You know what I mean? The trees can't do nothing to you out. The tree is not gonna harm you out. You know what I mean? But you gotta stop celebrating. You gotta leave it alone. You know what I mean? Let's get some more. Verse 6. For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Let me see. I know it's some more. I think that might have been it. That's it on it. You know what I mean? He had to tell him, man, listen. He had to tell him, brothers, man, the tree ain't gonna do nothing to you. What the hell the tree gonna do? Just like my brothers, you know what I mean? Just like black people in Islam, man. You know what I mean? That rock ain't gonna do nothing for you. That rock is a rock. What you celebrating? What you kissing a rock for? Like the rock gonna give you the rock is gonna give you some type of reward or something. The rock ain't gonna do nothing for you. The rock is going, just be a rock and sit there and watch your dumb ass kissing it. Excuse me for my language, but like, it's not gonna do anything for you. That's the point. The point is we gotta get rid of all these holidays because they mean nothing. Because they're vain customs. You understand? The Lord already said in the second verse, he said, learn not the way of the heathen. Who are the heathen? You know what I mean? The Africans, the white man, you understand? East Indians, all them, the Chinese, Japanese, they are the heathen. You know what I mean? They're the heathen. And when you taking up their customs, their culture, and their customs like Christmas, you know what I mean? You disobeying what the Lord said. You disobeying it. So what we have to do now is correct this behavior. How we correct this behavior, man? We're gonna we're gonna correct this behavior by learning that Christmas is wrong. And also you gotta find it within yourself to want to accept that. You gotta want to accept that Christmas is wrong. Unless you just want to live in a lie for the rest of your life. You want to live in a lie like some dumb little child, you understand? Like some naive little child, and just be along with the you know what I mean, with the, be down with the mix and all that, you know what I mean? You want to stay in the mix and everything. The Lord ain't gonna be with you. And it ain't gonna be pretty. You understand? It ain't gonna be nice. It ain't gonna be pretty. You know what I mean? Watch how many and I pray brothers wake up, but watch how many houses get burned down. Watch how many houses get burned down. Watch how many people get hurt. Watch how many people get get unalive. You know what I mean? It's because the Most High is not with it. He's our Father. You understand? He's our Father. Just like any good father. He's going to discipline his kids. He's going to discipline them bad kids. He's going to make sure that, man, look, you did what? You know what I mean? He's going to deal with us. You know what I mean? But we got grace and mercy right now. So like right now is the time to get right. Let me grab a precept. Grab a precept. Because this is a spiritual warfare. You know what I mean? This is spiritual. Bear with me a second, y'all. You know what I mean? But this is a spiritual, you know what I mean, war that we going through. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can find it real quick. You understand? And the way we have to change is not, you know what I mean, the way you think we have to change. The way we have to change, the way we must change, the only way we can make this better, the only way we can make our situation better as a nation, you know what I mean, is understanding we have to fight ourselves. We have to fight our own flesh. We got to, you know what I mean, fight our own wants and desires. You know what I mean? All right, let me see if I can pull this up faster than what I'm doing. Hold on. Because I ain't never going to get it. Hold on a second. You know what I mean? We got to fight ourselves. We got to fight ourselves every day. Every day we got to fight our own flesh. You know what I mean? We got to fight our own flesh. And this is how you do it. Let me, I'm going to grab a precept. Y'all can meet me at 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. All right, boom. It's a book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You know what I mean? The weapons of our warfare is not carnal, are not carnal. You know what I mean? If you ask the Black Panthers, man, how do we get out of this hell? How do we stop dying? How do we stop? What's the solution for Black people? How do we make sure Black and Latinos come together in righteousness, you know what I mean, under God? And how do we, you know what I mean, thrive as a people? You ask the Black Panthers, oh man, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get all the guns. We're gonna buy out all the gun stores. We're gonna get all the guns we can. We're gonna show force on the streets. We're gonna do you understand? That's not the way. That's not the way. You know what I mean? You ask the Black Panthers, they're gonna take up arms and, you know what I mean, take up vengeance for themselves. That's not the way. You know what I mean? Another thing they cool with doing is sleeping with the oppressor's daughters, the white women. That's not the way. Accepting white people, that's not the way. You know what I mean? That's how they fell that's how they fell already. You know what I mean? What you have to do is, you know what I mean, what the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA been saying since 1969 is you have to fight yourself. You know what I mean? It's a spiritual warfare that we're in right now. And let's read this precept. All right, boom. Damn, what's going on? All right, this is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. You understand? Well, they're not carnal. You know what I mean? Through God, through the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Through the courage. You know what I mean? Of changing your life. You know what I mean? Of us telling. There's another precept. Let me grab another precept. Go right with this. Grab another precept. You know what I mean? Because being that our warfare is not carnal, man. What's the opposite of being carnal? It's being spiritual. It's being spiritual. How you be spiritual? You know what I mean? Oh, Salakia. This is a perfect one for me. The perfect one. You know what I mean? Y'all meet me at this other precept real quick. It's a book of Ephesians chapter 6. Ephesians chapter 6. All right. Chapter 6, and we're gonna go to verse. Let me get there first. Salakia. Boom, boom, boom. All right, boom. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. You understand? We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. We don't do that. You know what I mean? Our weapons of our warfare is not carnal. You know what I mean? We this is what we learned in here. Brother, we're gonna get you to stop smoking. We gonna, you know what I mean, you gotta put the blunt down. You gotta, you know what I mean, leave the cigarettes alone. You know what I mean? Take it day by day. Take it day by day, step by step. You know what I mean? One day you might feel a little weak, but just take it one step at a time, brother. You know what I mean? You're going to get there all the way where you need to be. Strong like you're supposed to be. You understand? This is the brotherhood we show brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K. You know what I mean? Take everything day by day, step by step. You know what I mean? A lot of brothers can't quit smoking cold turkey like that. You know what I mean? But what you're going to do is you're going to get it done. Ain't no excuses in the I.S.U.P.K. You know what I mean? No cowards, no excuses. So, you know what I mean? You're going to get it done. You're going to, you know what I mean? You're going to put that blunt away one way or another. You know what I mean? You're going to be brotherly towards your brothers and sisters. You're going to stop unaliving one another. You're going to stop killing one another. You know what I mean? We're going to learn to love one another as a nation. We're going to learn to stop selling drugs to our people. You know what I mean? We're going to find other ways to make our money, even if it means we have to suffer a little bit more. And to be truthfully honest, man, no brothers, you ain't making money anyway in that lifestyle anyway. You ain't making money anyway. You understand? You know what I mean? We're gonna find another way to make some money, and besides destroying, you know what I mean, besides doing it the way where it destroys my community that I grew up in. That I grew up in, reside in, watch the babies come up younger than me, you know what I mean, get older and get, you know what I mean, healthy and strong as kids and all that. You're going to help. If you really loved your community, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't destroy it by distributing drugs throughout the community and all that. You wouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be doing it. You understand? If you loved your people, if you loved your community that you grew up in, you see me. I love the city of Trenton. I love it, but you know what I mean. And I wouldn't, you know what I mean. I love it so much that I ain't going, I ain't going to get into, you know what I mean, doing this and doing that. You know what I mean, selling drugs to, you know what I mean, people out there. You know what I mean, destroying our community. I ain't going to do it. You know what I mean? I love Philly. You know what I mean? I love black people so much. I ain't going to get into all that. I ain't going to hate my brother to the point where if he look at me wrong, I gotta be like, what's up? You know, it gotta be a problem all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I'm saying, just beefing over nothing. You know what I mean? That's, if you loved your people, you wouldn't get into all that. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me read. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. You know what I mean? We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. That's the difference between us and all these other fake camps out here. It's like in all these fake Israelite camps, the difference between I.S.U.P.K and between Black Panthers, difference between us and the Nation of Islam. That's the difference, man. That's the difference. You know what I mean? All those things fail. They failed and they're, you know what I mean, they collapsed and they not doing anything now. You know what I mean? Because the Lord put them down. You know what I mean? The only thing that's going to be resurrected up, and it's like it erected on this earth and strong and mighty, is going to be the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge. This is the only place the Lord is with. The Lord dwells in here. You understand? The Lord dwells in here and nowhere else. You know what I mean? That's why you're never going to see the I.S.U.P.K fall, because we actually care for our people. We actually love our people. We actually, you know what I mean, do things for our people, you know what I mean? And, you know, clothe and feed them and all that. We give them their true identity according to the Bible too. You know what I mean? The Lord, you know what I mean, ordered us to do that. He ordered us to prophesy, you know what I mean, unto the wind if we had to, you know what I mean, to tell our people, you know what I mean, to stop selling drugs, to stop doing the evil we've been doing so long in this place in America. You understand? You know what I mean, the Lord gave us, you know, an order to do that. You know what I mean, to fish our people out, to fish our brothers, man. You know what I mean? This is the precept I wanted. This is the precept I wanted. So like, yeah. All right. This goes right along with the other one I pulled too. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18. So like, I think that's it. So 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18. I'm gonna read. It says, for the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved It is the power of God. Let me see. No, Salaki, verse 21, Salaki. For after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not of God. Salaki, knew not God. It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. So, like, listen, man, that's what we do. That's what the I.S.U.P.K do. You want to know, you know what I mean? Well, what are they? What are they about? We about waking you up. We about waking you up, brother. Waking you up, sister. You know what I mean? To let you know there's a better life out there that you can be living than the one you're living now. And I know you might think you're living life right now. You going out planning trip, like I said earlier, like you planning trips out, going overseas, the whore out of both draw legs, and you think that's having a good time. That ain't having a good time. You know what I mean? You're whoring yourself out. What you know what I mean? Having a good, you know what I mean? To really have a good life is, like I said earlier, the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. You know what I mean? He that keepeth these commandments, you know what I mean, shall live. You know what I mean? Shall live. I'm paraphrasing, of course. You know what I mean? But that's where you find life at. Following God, that's where you find life at. And I know that sounds very generic because the Christian church says it all the time and bastardize that phrase. You understand? But following God means you're not going to be a whore. Following God means you're not going to be a, you know what I mean, a sister that just, you know what I mean, doing whatever. You know what I mean? You're going to have some dignity about yourself and carry yourself in a, you know what I mean, in a appropriate manner. You know what I mean? And for brothers out there, you know what I mean, to be a soldier for God, to be a soldier for Christ, so a soldier under him, under Christ, under you know what I mean, under Yahushua Mashiach, you're gonna be a soldier for Commander during YAHANNA. You understand? You're gonna be a soldier for him and get right. So you could wake up more brothers, more sisters. And if you're watching, man, you know what I mean, it's always best to come to class in person, man. That's how you really get your demons off. Watching online is cool too, but you know what I mean, you really want to come in person. You really want to you know what I mean, feel the vibes and you know in the atmosphere of the class in person. That's how you're gonna get your demons off. You know what I mean? That's how I did it. That's how the brothers before me did it. You understand? And we're just gonna keep doing it. All right. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm about to wrap it up. You understand? Most High Christ, man. You know what I mean, had a few people watching today, man. Most High Christ. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I appreciate you know what I mean, the support. You know what I mean? We just going, you know, clipping it. You know what I mean? I'll be back here next Tuesday at the UN Library, teaching the brotherhood class. You understand? And I hope you received this brotherhood tonight. I hope it received you well, man. You know what I mean? We gotta do away with Christmas because the Lord ain't with it. He's not with it, and He's gonna show us He's not with it. All right, so with that, man, I'm gonna salute everybody out, man. Shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shabbat Yahweh Shamar Thumb Bashim Yahweh Shah. This is preaching officer of 500 Mathumya out of I.S.U.P.K, so out of 1 West, 125th Street Hall, New York, under Commander Jerry YAHANNA. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969. Truth being that the blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are God's chosen people according to the scriptures, according to the Bible, you know what I mean, and that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. With that, man, I'm gonna say shalom.